What's up, friends? Thank you for tuning in. Today we're doing something a little bit different, right? Moving away from things that have wheels and into the airplane space. So I was thumbing through this book, The World's Greatest Aircraft, and stumbled across one of my personal favorite fighter jets, the Lockheed Martin F-16, the Fighting Falcon. Originally designed and developed, I believe, by General Dynamics in like the early 70s in response to some of the fighting style that was happening in the Vietnam War at the time. I don't know all the details. I'm not a whiz-bang airplane guy. I don't know all the details, but I do know that it's super cool, and I'm going to walk you through the process that I use when I'm setting up the perspectives and sketching an airplane, and I figure we might as well go through the process on something that looks pretty darn cool. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing, actually before I get into it, let's talk about tools. These little pencil extenders are great because at this point, right, you'd have to throw this out. It's kind of hard to draw with, but the pencil extender not only extends the pencil, but also extends the use you get out of it and makes your money go a little bit longer. Prismacolors aren't super expensive, but they're also not super cheap. I'll find one. You can probably buy them on Amazon or something like that. I will find one and put it in the link, or put the link in the description below if you are interested. All right, so sharpen this bad boy up. First thing that we would want to do, we want to lay out our perspective lines. So here, this plane is going to go out this way, and this is your, essentially your fuselage would be right here, your main hull rather. Your turbine, jet engine will come out back here, and then the wings are kind of set back on the body, and I can adjust this later, but let's say the wings are kind of out this way. Okay. Great, and this is the back edge of the wing. And you've got some missiles kind of coming off and going off into the distance. So these are going to be in perspective, vanishing to a vanishing point somewhere off the paper here. But we'll just be aware of that. Kind of come over here. All right, so they're going backwards into perspective. Now, the cabin is this kind of bulb or this dome that sits. Let's put the center line in first. So we've got this little spire that comes out the front. The center line might be something like this. So you have this long nose, then you hit the cabin. Quite bulbous, really. And then it goes back over the body, and then you've got this rear wing section. This could actually be even a little bit longer, so we'll extend this out. Maybe it ends around here. Gives us some more space for the center line of this rear wing. The rear wing comes up fairly high. And this might not be perfect, but here, cuts back in. And then from here, right, so there's our center line, same thing underneath, and then we're not going to be able to see the majority of this, so I'm not going to sketch the whole underbody because I can't erase, I can't clean it up. So I'm just going to know that there's some underbody here, and I'm just going to build out from here. I'm going to hit fast forward. If I hit any key points, I will chime in, but let us sketch. Alright, so I'm at this spot in the sketch where I'm realizing that there are some pretty significant proportional I'll say errors, where it's just not quite right. Like the space between here is too large. Like there's the wings are maybe a little too short, little stubby wings. It's maybe not wide enough through this section. The nose looks good. I did come back and kind of elongate this, but towards this rear section, things are starting to look a little improper. So I am going to pretty quickly just block in some of this other stuff that might be in here, and I'm going to overlay this and essentially just tighten it up, clean up the perspective, and get the spacing right on a couple of things. Really around these front wings, I think they are just not quite large enough. It's a little under-winged at the moment. Same way that a car might be under-tired if the wheels were too small or something like this. So I've got to make some adjustments there. Like really, this almost wants to be something like this, like that. That looks quite a bit better, actually. I'll bring this out over this way. You know, that starts to feel a bit more proper. But now the sketch looks like a mess, so I am going to overlay. Let's clean this bad boy up. Alright, so we've got this essentially blocked in and ready to go. So now I can get rid of this underlay. And again, it's still not necessarily perfect, but I think it's much closer than the first sketch. It might still be a little short, a little compressed this way, but we are now just going to go through and add some detailing, and we'll wrap this thing up. All right, here she is. I mean, there's some things that we could continue to tweak, and I could do another overlay and modify some proportions and things like this, but generally I think we're capturing the gesture of the F-16. Got some flame shooting out here, you know, see this thing in action. If you have any questions about the process, I know I fast forwarded through the majority of the sketch, but if you have any technical questions or if you'd like to provide input, please leave a comment. And if you found any value here, definitely like, subscribe, share it with a friend. And listen, we'll be sketching some more soon. Stay tuned, and I'll see you later.